been lucky enough to give 8 TED Talks in my life. This one's my 9th. Over the last 8 talks that I've given, I've always followed a pattern. I've always started with a story. I've always led to a call to action, given solutions for an existing problem, and essentially tried to make it a motivational speech. But not this time. There is no call to action. There is no solution. There is no advice. The resolution is what you make of it. Studying to be a therapist kind of sucks for one major reason. It tells you quite a lot about yourself. For example, I started to realize that in my life I've employed a lot of self-hate, self-criticism, and self-sabotaging behaviors. And in that context, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Amaan. I'm a disappointing son, a lackluster student, a subpar brother, and a bad friend. Now, there have been many instances in life that made me think, maybe there's more to me than just that. And then there have been equally a large amount of instances that made me realize, maybe that's all I am. And throughout life, we get to a point where something comes along to either prove or disprove us. For me, that showed up in the form of a little life form. His name was Theo. He was a mixed British short-hair Scottish fold kitten. 3 months old. We adopted him from Sharjah. Now, something you need to know is my mom and I are terrified of cats. We would freeze if anything that's not human would walk up next to us. And my sister was really insistent on adopting a cat. And so my mom made a promise that she hoped we wouldn't have to fulfill, that if she scored well enough in 12th grade, we'd adopt a cat. My sister diligently kept that as an alarm in her calendar and reminded us of this state. So we went to a cat cafe so my mom could get desensitized. And then eventually she said yes, and we brought Theo home. Now, as someone who, as I proclaimed, I'm terrified of cats, something shifted in me the moment I held him for the first time. It got to a point where I wanted to be nothing than a homebody. Staying at home, petting him, playing with him. He used to do this thing where he'd nudge his nose against my knuckle, telling me that it's time for me to give him his pets, the one that he is entitled to. And I'd do so without any complaint. We brought him home on the 28th of March, 2026, and all was well. On the 4th of April, 2026, we noticed him convulsing in what seemed to be what a cat would regularly do when they're trying to cough up a hairball. So we didn't pay much attention to it. But on the 5th of April, it got a bit worse. So we were worried and we took him to the vet. The vet initially said Theo has pneumonia and that he would need a range of antibiotics and he'll be fine. But we had to admit him there for the night. So we bid a tearful goodbye for now and drove home. By the time we got home, we got a call saying that he had contracted parvovirus. Now, for the uninitiated, parvovirus is a near fatal disease that afflicts cats, where all you can do is hope and pray. There is no cure. All you can do is manage the symptoms and hope that it runs its course. That night, I was out on my walk when my dad called me and told me to run home immediately. And when I got home, he told me that the doctor had called and he had said, keep Theo in your prayers because there's a very high possibility he might not make it through the night. I was never really a very religious person, but that night it felt like I had made up for the years of lost prayers. That night there wasn't a single name of God that I hadn't used. I went to sleep tired after praying relentlessly, and I woke up to get ready for work, only to get a call from the clinic. They said, unfortunately, after rounds of CPR, Theo passed away at 6:40 a.m. this morning. We can't release the body because of the virus. We can't release the ashes. But you can certainly come and say your final goodbyes. He's still warm. Now, here's the thing. God did answer my prayers. The doctor said he might not make it through the night, but he did. He survived. He fought like a lion till 6:40 a.m. We drove to the clinic, and I figured out that the clinic lied. When I tried to pet him, he wasn't warm anymore. I saw that his mouth was left a bit wide open as if he was trying to call for us, and his arms were outstretched as if he was trying to reach for any of our hands. And when I tried to pet him, I didn't feel that little floof ball that I was familiar with. All I felt was something I could only associate with rubber. On the drive home, I broke down. When we got home, my mom broke down. In the evening, my sister broke down. That night, when my dad got home, he broke down. The next night, again, we broke down. It was at that point that I was reminded of something I'd started doing in 2019. When I'd first left my home to go to another country for my education, I wasn't in a very good place in life. And I remember sitting down and opening a Google Doc to write down my grievances for the world. I wrote a few verses and I closed it, thinking I'm done, I've let it all out, I don't need to think about it anymore. Until a few months later, I had to reopen it because things were getting dark again. Every time over the past 7 years, I opened that Google Doc, wrote down some lines and closed it, hoping that I'd never have to open it again. But on the 10th of April, 4 days after I lost him, I got to a point where I opened that Google Doc one more time. And I only hope and pray that that's the last time I'll ever have to close it. Like I said, this is unlike any talk I've ever done. Because for the first and final time in my life, I'd like to share with you what I've written. It's titled When Death Comes, and it's dedicated to every single person who's made a mark on my life. When death comes, I hope I'm mid-thought, reaching for something that doesn't matter. I hope I'm smiling at nothing the way I sometimes do when no one is watching, and I forget for a moment to be anything other than alive. When death comes, let it give me time to tell my sister where the keys to my car are. It's hers now. She can do with it what she always wished. When death comes, let me call my mother. Not to say goodbye, she would know from my voice, but just to hear her say my name once more, the way she said it when I was small and unbroken. When death comes, let it permit me to apologize to my mother for never being the son a mother would hope to have. When death comes, do not let my father wash my body. He spent a lifetime making sure I was clean and fed and warm. He's done enough. Let him remember me standing. When death comes and you find me lying still, trim my hair and beard so I resemble my father. For as I failed to model him in life, at least I may in death. When death comes and you find me lying cold, please, please don't close my eyes. For my mother remembers I was always terrified of the dark. When death comes and you wash and bury me, transgress and lay me with pictures of you so I may show everyone in heaven the faces of those who made me a better man. For I know what I am, I know what I've done. I know of the sins I've committed, and I know of where death will take me. When death comes, let it be swift. Let it take with me the memories of me from the minds of everyone I've loved. Let it reassure me that the ones I love will forget. If the Creator is merciful and I may be redeemed, then, when death comes, let me see my grandfather again. Let him pat me on the back and tell me he's proud. Then, when death comes, let me see my cat again. Let him bound towards me, free of pain, free of suffering. If the ones I've wronged, forgive, and the ones I loved, forget. Then, when death comes, let me be erased into oblivion. When death comes, let it grant me one final wish, so I may undo all the pain that I have inflicted. Not for forgiveness or absolution, but because I no longer have the ability to fix what I've broken. When death comes, retrieve my phone and delete the unsent messages, the ones I typed and held and could never bring myself to send. Let no one know how much I wanted to say and how afraid I was to say it. When death comes and people speak of me, they will say things I never heard much in life. That I was kind, that I was loved, that I would be missed. I spent my whole life starving for those words. Feed them to the ground instead. When death comes, my sister will look for me in every room of the house for months. She will reach for her phone to tell me something funny and then remember. Tell her now, before I go, that I always picked up. Because I always wanted to hear her voice, not because she needed me, but because I needed her. When death comes, give my parents back every hour they lost to worry over me. Every night they lay awake listening for the sound of the door. Give them back the years I cost them. They've earned them twice over. When death comes, let it find me close to who I was trying to become. Not there yet, but facing the right direction. Let that be enough. Let someone say he was getting there. When death comes, I hope my best friend is not the one who gets the call. I hope he's doing something peaceful and small, watering a plant or folding laundry, still in a world where I'm alive. Let him have one last ordinary moment before everything changes. He has earned at least that for suffering me all this while. When death comes, my friends will gather, and someone will do an impression of me to make the others laugh through their tears. And for a moment, I'll be in the room again. Let them do it. Let them laugh. Grief is long, and I would want them to rest inside a laugh when they can. When death comes, someone will have to decide what to do with my room. My mother will not let them touch it for a long time. I know her. She'll make the bed as though I'm coming back. She'll leave the light on as though I just stepped out, and every morning she'll pass the door, and her hand will move to knock before she remembers. When death comes, somewhere my mother is making dua for me, as she has every single night since the night I was born. She wouldn't know yet that tonight might be the last night her prayer and my last breath are happening at the same time. I hope God listened. I hope it counted. And I hope she never finds out how close it was. When death comes somewhere, there's a photograph of me at 7 years old, squinting into the sun, completely unaware of everything that's coming. The child did nothing wrong. He was just squinting into the sun. Be gentle with him when you speak of me. Remember, he was there too, doing his best in a world that was very large and very bright, and he had not yet learned to look away. When death comes, my father will remember every dua he made for my wedding, every time he imagined what I would look like walking towards something good, towards a life he had quietly designed for me in the back of every prayer. He'll have to unmake all of that. Every imagined grandchild, every imagined morning. He'll have to reach into the future he built for me and empty it by hand. When death comes, my sister will get married one day, and there'll be a chair that everyone notices and nobody mentions. She'll hold it together through the whole thing. She gets that strength from my mother. But when they play a song we used to sing badly together in the car at full volume with the windows down, she'll excuse herself. Her partner will follow her outside and hold her, without asking why. And in honesty, that moment is the one I grieve most. that I would not be there to embarrass her one last time the way only I could, the way she pretended to hate but never did. When death comes, there's someone I never apologized to, not because I didn't want to, but because I was waiting for the right moment, the right words, the right version of myself who knew how to say I was wrong without his throat closing up. That version of me was almost ready. He was so close. Tell them that the silence was never indifference. It was cowardice, dressed in pride. Tell them I practiced what I would say in the shower every morning for a year. Tell them I knew every word. I just never found the courage to say them out loud to their face where it counted. When death comes, watch the ones I leave behind. Grief will make them irrational and tender. They'll keep my number in their phone for years under my name, as though deleting it would be the real death. They'll buy my brand of soda without knowing why. They'll laugh at something I should have found funny and turn to tell me and find air. And that turning, that half second of turning, will be a small death. They'll die that way 1,000 times before they're done with me. When death comes, and the years have settled like dust over everything, my mother will cook too much and stand at the stove, not knowing why. My father will sit in his chair and look at his hands for a long time. My sister will reach for her phone to tell me something and put it down. My best friend will hear a song we both knew and pull over. And that will be every day for the rest of their lives. Every day they will carry me this way without meaning to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that love and grief has no way of setting itself down. I promise you all that this is unlike anything I've ever done, and I intend to stick to that promise. There is no word of wisdom, there is no call to action. All I have is a request for a promise from every single one of you. We've heard a lot that grief is just love that has nowhere to go. And that's true. And we also hear people telling you to move on anytime you feel that grief. But if grief is something that is just love that has nowhere to go, and if you try to move on, then you risk losing that love entirely. So my request to each and every one of you is to keep a promise to yourselves that when you grieve, keep grieving. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let it take over every sense of you. But hold that love. Because if that disappears, then there's really not much waiting for us when death comes. Thank you.